All right, welcome to your next podcast on anatomy language. As always, I highly recommend that you split screen with Notability and have your Unit 1 anatomy language notes in Notability as you watch. This podcast is going to be about the regional terms. Sometimes we refer to these as the torso terms. These terms are a way to give certain areas of the bodies really precise names so we know exactly what we're talking about. This, in combination with the directional terms that you learned about, like superior and inferior and anterior and posterior, can really give you a language that you can use throughout anatomy and any other anatomy or medical courses you might take that really gives you the precision to describe exactly where you are talking about on the body. Okay, so the first terms we're going to talk about are the ones located on the anterior side of the body. First, I want to direct your attention to the figure. You'll notice that he is standing with his palms facing forward. This is known as anatomical position. The reason why this is important is because if you know where these terms are on the anatomically positioned figure, you'll be able to find them no matter how the body is oriented. So that's an important thing to understand. Anatomical position is always palms facing up or forward. So what I'd like to do is take you through the terms in the anterior side of the body, and I'll add some details or some distinguishing features of each of these terms, and I highly recommend you kind of add these details to your notes as well. Okay, so we're going to start off at the top or the superior side of the body, and the first word you're going to see is cephalic. Cephalic in general refers to anything having to do with the head. So all of these terms we're about to talk about, and I'm going to highlight in blue, all are on the cephalic portion of the body or the head. So first you have the frontal. Frontal refers to an individual's forehead. Okay, next, orbital refers to an individual's eyes or eye sockets. Nasal refers to the nose. Buccal is the cheek. Oral is the mouth. And then mental is the chin. All right, next we're moving down the figure. Cervical refers to something on an individual's neck. So, for example, if you've ever bought a cervical pillow, cervical refers to neck. Sometimes this can be confused because if you've ever heard of cervical cancer, that's actually referring to a woman's cervix. So that can be a little confusing, but cervical in anatomy speak refers to the neck. Okay, next we're moving on to the thoracic cavity. So you can see that area in orange is the thoracic region of the body. Sometimes we might just generally call that the chest. Under that, within that, you have the sternal region. Sternal region, if you think of the bone, the sternum, okay, that's that bone in the middle of your chest. And then auxiliary is your armpit. Okay, so for example, the lymph nodes located in your armpit are known as your auxiliary lymph nodes. Okay, next we're going to see your abdominal region. And your abdominal region you can see is that area in purple. Okay, so you might just call that your abdomen. So your abdominal region refers to that whole area in purple. And then a more specific part is the umbilical, which is your belly button. Okay, next we're moving on to the pelvic region. The pelvic region is the area between your hip bones. Okay, so the area between your hip bones there is known as the pelvic region. And the inguinal is the groin. So a lot of times we can call that the crease between your thigh and abdomen. Okay, so this right here that I'm highlighting in green, this is your inguinal, otherwise known as your groin, or the crease between where your abdomen meets your thigh. Okay, next we have the pubic region, and this is just the genitals on either the male or the female. Okay, taking it back to the other side of the diagram, we'll start with the torso terms on the upper limb. So next we have the acromial. Acromial is the point of your shoulder. So if you kind of feel around on the very top of your shoulder, like you see in that picture, that point of your shoulder that kind of sticks out at the top there is known as your acromial. Next, you have your deltoid. Your deltoid is the muscle at the top of your arm. So kind of that curve, that thing that curves in, especially if you have very defined deltoids, it kind of curves in at the top of your arm there. That's the area is known as your deltoid. Next, you have your brachial, which is your arm, but specifically your brachial is your upper arm. So when we get to the circulatory unit, you'll learn that the brachial artery and the brachial vein are the artery and the vein that run through the upper arm. And then you have antecubital. This one might be one of my favorites. The antecubital is the inner elbow. I kind of always wondered, why do we need a name for the inner elbow? But we have one. So the antecubital is the inside of your elbow, or the crease on the inside of your elbow. Next, we're going to antebrachial, and you'll notice brachial is upper arm. Well, antebrachial is your lower arm, or you might call it your forearm. Oh, it already says forearm. I don't need to write that twice for you. So your lower arm or your forearm. And then you have your carpal, which refers to your wrist. If you've ever heard of the you've ever heard of the condition carpal tunnel, that is when the tendons in the wrist are overworked and they get a little sore and stiff. All right, next we have the manus, which refers to the hand. And on the hand specifically, we also have the digital, which are the fingers. Okay, now moving on to the lower limb. Okay, we're going to start with the coxal, which is your hip bones, and your hip bones are actually known as your coxal bones. So when we get to the skeletal unit, that'll come back. Next, you have your femoral, which is your upper thigh or your thigh. Okay, so for example, again, the femoral vein, the femoral artery run through your thigh. Your patellar is your knee. Okay, next you have your crural. Now your crural is referring to the front of your lower leg or your shin. And then your fibular is the outer edge of your lower leg. We'll talk about those a little bit more because those are a little confusing. All right, and the last few terms on the anterior side of the body all have to refer to the foot. So you have your pedal, which in general refers to your foot, and then specifically your tarsal is your ankle, and then your digital, this refers to your toes. Now it is the same, fingers and toes have the same torso term. So digital just either refers to your fingers or your toes. They have a name for inner elbow, but they couldn't think of a different name for fingers and toes. All right, next let's look at the terms that are on the posterior side of the body. You'll notice that some of the same terms are visible both on the anterior and the posterior side of the body. So I'm going to skip some of these because we've had them on the other side, and I'm only going to go through the ones that we haven't yet talked about. Okay, so let's start on the upper limb. So the upper limb, we already went through acromial, the point of the shoulder. Brachial is your upper arm. But then we have a new word here. Olecranial is your elbow. Antebrachial, we already talked about your forearm. Manus is your hand. Digital is your fingers. Now moving on to the lower leg. We have your femoral, which is your thigh. That doesn't change. Now we have another one of my favorites, popliteal. Popliteal is the back of your knee. So behind your knee is the popliteal. And then we have your sural, which is your calf. And fibular, we already went through. That's the outer edge of your lower leg. And then now on this side of the foot, we have the calcaneal, which is your heel, and then the plantar, which is the sole of your foot. Okay, now moving to the cephalic region again, but now on the posterior side, we have the occipital region, which is the back of the head. If you're familiar with the lobes of the brain at all, you'll know that the occipital lobe of the brain is at the back of the head. Cervical, we talked about, is neck. Now we're looking at the back. So that whole area in blue, we could refer to that as the dorsal side of the body, or the dorsal area of the body. Now, more specifically, you have your scapular, which is your shoulder blades. If you know the true name for your shoulder blades, which is scapula, you'll understand that those two are related. Then you have your vertebral, which is your vertebral column. You have your lumbar, which is your lower back. Your sacral is the area above your tailbone. If you're familiar with the scientific name for tailbone, it's your sacrum. And then gluteal is your buttocks. And then if you're familiar with this, the name of the muscle of your butt, it's the gluteus maximus. So that should make sense considering that area is called gluteal. Okay, now as I went through those torso terms, I mean, really, it's just a lot of straightforward memorization. Quizlet is great for this. There's Quizlet sets with the diagrams that look just like the ones I just showed you, and you can just practice with that diagram over and over again. And it helps you through, like I said, throughout the whole semester. But there are some ones that are a little bit tricky, so I want to go through some of the trickier ones to differentiate. So when we were talking about the upper limb, we looked at acromial and deltoid. So just to differentiate them a little bit, the acromial is really that point, that bony projection that kind of comes out of your shoulder. Whereas the deltoid is the curve of your shoulder, um, that whole muscle on the upper part of your arm is that deltoid muscle. So that's the difference between those two. All right, next we have the sacral versus the lumbar. So just to show you the difference here, I like this picture. So the sacral is going to be right over your tailbone there. So that's going to be where your sacral is. And then your lumbar is where that lower back curves in right there. So that's the difference between those two areas. Okay, and then the last three that are probably the most confusing out of all of these torso terms are crural, sural, and fibular. So throughout anatomy, I'm going to give you lots of weird mnemonic devices that help me remember these things. If they work for you, great. If not, use your own strategy to try to remember the certain little things that we have to. So for crural, that is the front of your lower leg or your shin bone. And then for sural, it's the back of the lower leg or the calf muscle. So the way I remember those two things is a little strange, but it really does work for me. I remember that the letters are opposite of each other. So crural, which starts with a C, refers to the shin bone, which starts with an S. And then sural, which starts with an S, refers to the calf, which starts with a C. So why they couldn't have flip-flopped those two would have been a lot easier for all of us to remember. But that's how I remember it. So I think crural, C, refers to the S, shin. And then sural, S, refers to C, calf. So I remember it's the opposite of what we'd probably like it to be. And then fibular, I don't really have a mnemonic device for that. Fibular, if you know where your fibula is, it's the bone on your outer edge of your lower leg. So it's just the lateral, the side of your lower leg. All right, guys, as always, thank you for watching this podcast. One of the best ways to study this, if you're doing this for e-learning, Quizlet is going to be the best way to study. If you're doing this in class with me, Quizlet still one of the best ways to study this, but also our foamy dolls that we're going to do in the class, also a great way as well. But get on Quizlet right now, do each diagram, the anterior and the posterior side, a bunch of times. These terms are going to help you through the rest of anatomy, and again, any anatomy or medical related class you're going to have in the future. Thanks again.